Hello Stings, this is going to be part 5, problems 18 through 21 of your fall semester review. So let's go to problem 18. It says two functions are given below. How does the graph of P compare with the graph of Q? So here's P, here's Q. We have a -5 slope and a -2 slope. If we ignore the negative sign, 5 is bigger than 2, so P is going to be steeper, and they share a common y-intercept. So let's see what our answer choices say. It says the graph of P has a different y-intercept, and that's not true because they have the same y-intercept. So that's not what we're looking for. The graph of P is less steep than the graph of Q. 5 is bigger than 2, so while they're both in the negative direction, -5 is going to be steeper than -2. The graph of P is steeper than the graph of Q, which is correct. That's what we just said, and this should have said answer choice D. I don't know why I have two C's there, but answer choice D says the graph of P is parallel. They do not have the same slope, so they cannot be parallel. Your answer choice here is C. For problem number 19, they want the domain and the range, and determine if the graph of determine if the graph is a function. Pardon me. So here's our x-axis. Our x-axis runs left and right, so that means we need to build some walls. So we have a wall here on the left-hand side, and we have a wall here on the right-hand side. Now this left-hand side is a 0, so the domain goes to 0 and all the way up to 5. And our x is in the middle there. It is an open dot at 0, so this will be a strictly less than. It is a closed dot at 5, so it's going to be less than or equal. Now our range goes up and down, so we need to have a ceiling and we need to have a floor. Our floor is 0. Our y goes in the middle. And it is equal, because that is a closed dot, so we're going to say less than or equal. And up here, our ceiling is a 4, and that also is equal because it is closed there. We don't have any open circles there, so it is equal to it. So our range is from 0 to 4. It goes from a floor of 0 to a ceiling of +4. Our domain goes from left of 0 to right of 5. So is this a function? Yes, it is. There is no vertical line that will hit this function twice, so we say, is it a function? Yes, it is a function. So for problem number 20, they want us to know which graph does not represent y as a function of x. In order to be a function, you need to pass the vertical line test. This one passes. This one passes. This one, see here, that vertical line hits that graph more than one time, so this does not pass, but this line passes. So it says does not, so we want something that fails the vertical line test, and that would be option H, because on J it also passes. For number 21, this one might get a little tricky. So it says a senior employee who works 18 hours earns $40.50 more than a junior employee who works 22 hours. The senior employee earns $16 per hour. What is the hourly pay in dollars and cents for the junior employee? So we're going to let our hourly pay for the junior employee, we're going to let that be X. So 22 hours times how much you make an hour. So this is what the junior employee makes. And we know that the senior employee works 18 hours and he makes $16 per hour. So we know that that's how much he makes, and that this amount is $40.50 more than what the junior employee makes. So I need to add $40.50 to the junior employee's total to get what the senior employee makes. So now it's simply a matter of solving for x. This should be 288. Then we subtract 40/50 from both sides, and we end up with $247.50. and then simply divide both sides by 22, and you end up with $11.25. So the junior employee makes $11.25 per hour, and if he works for 22 hours, he makes less than the senior employee who works 18 hours because they make more money than he does. Okay, so here on number 22, if the graph of y equals 3x plus 8 is translated 12 units down, so that down is going to be affecting the y-intercept, which is 8. It says which equation describes the new graph. So basically our slope isn't going to change, but we're going to take 8 and we're going to move it down 12. So 8 minus 12 is negative 4. So that would be the new equation for that new line. So on number 18, we were comparing that negative 5 is going to give you a steeper slope than a negative 2. Here we looked at our domain and our range, and we saw that it passed the vertical line test, so it was a function. We were looking for what did not pass the vertical line test in number 20, and that was h. For number 21, we took what the junior employee made plus that much to get to what the senior employee made, and then solved for x, which is the hourly pay for the junior employee. And then we looked at the y-intercept in number 22 and translated it down 12 units to get a new y-intercept of negative 4. And since their slopes were the same, there was no change there, we get a new equation of y equals 3x minus 4. So this has been part 5 of your fall semester review.